NZ Music Podcast. Today we're speaking with blues rock band Mini Simmons.
So, first off, how are you guys doing today?
We're great.
Doing great.
Just a long day of work, and what are we doing? We're sitting kind of in my house at home, where the washing's drying. We're eating a bit of spaghetti carbonara and drinking, what are they, pale ales?
Pacific
nice.
Pale Ale. Yeah.
Ooh. Very fancy.
Aucklanders.
So, we're a bit south of Auckland. We're from a little town called Waiuku.
Oh, fantastic!
Sick.
Yeah.
Like a nowhere place.
Oh, cool. I like one.
Those are the good places anyway.
How do you guys know Waiuku? Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there a bit.
You've been there a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Surfing or? I mean, you guys.
I haven't actually surfed it.
First off, how are you guys doing today?
We're great.
Doing great.
Just a long day of work, and what are we doing? We're sitting kind of in my house at home, where the washing's drying. We're eating a bit of spaghetti carbonara and drinking, what are they, pale ales?
Pacific
nice.
Pale Ale. Yeah.
Ooh. Very fancy.
Aucklanders.
So, we're a bit south of Auckland. We're from a little town called Waiuku.
Oh, fantastic!
Sick.
Yeah.
Like a nowhere place.
Oh, cool.
So-
I like one.
Those are the good places anyway.
How do you guys know Waiuku? Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there a bit.
You've been there a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Surfing or?
I haven't actually surfed at Waiuku, but I've been to the beach out there where you do surf, obviously. I stayed in those camping places out there as well.
Oh yeah, they're pretty solid. That fancy is.
Yeah,
Some
they're
of them
nice.
Yeah.
I treated my girlfriend.
Oh, very nice.
Not camping, glamping.
So, how did you guys all meet? Like, who's in the band?
So there's two of us are brothers, Jesse and I. Jesse plays bass, and I'm singer. And then we met Yoni when we were super young, about 5 years old. Yoni's mum was our music teacher at our primary school. So yeah, that was how it all kicked off.
Yeah, our parents kind of became friends, and their dad and my mum in the school band, which we were all in.
Oh,
And then,
very nice.
Yeah, and then Zach met Brad in the halls at Otago and flattered with him all the way through.
Oh, very nice. So you guys have
Yeah.
all gone to uni and stuff?
We've all attended
been.
uni at some point.
I'm the only one to not finish it. So
That's all good.
That's all good.
And
Had
you
better
guys-
things to do.
Yeah, like touring, right? You guys are just touring. You're in the middle of the NZ album release tour, right? For your new album
Yeah,
you've just
that's
released.
it. So we've had our first weekend. We just did the South Island, Dunedin and Christchurch, and had two great shows there. Dunedin, we played at
Starters Bar.
Starters Bar, and played with Moon Monsoon there, and that was a sick night. And then
Yeah, awesome venue.
yeah, real cool venue. And we followed that up with the Dark Room and Dolphin Friendly, and that was sold out as a packed house. So that was first time that we've played in Christchastchurch and sold it out. So we're
Both those
really
shows. Well,
happy.
Dunedin was the first time we've headlined a show out of Auckland, actually, which we hadn't realised till we kind of were doing it, actually. But
That's awesome though. That's
Yeah.
me. That's
good
so
for us anyway. Good time.
Yeah, you guys are becoming quite big. I'm surprised you guys would let us do an interview with you because you've been in the classic rock magazine and you've been in the news a lot lately, radio. How's that all gone?
We'll
for
never
you
be too big for
Yeah, don't be
Waiuku.
surprised.
Yeah.
We're happy to
Gotcha.
talk to people.
Yeah, it's cool. They're kind of just small little things. It's kind of sometimes hard to kind of realize what they mean when they're happening, because sometimes something will happen and you'll think it's quite a big deal, or it might feel like a big deal to you, but then in some other ways it's just kind of not much at all. But
Yeah, it's super hard to quantify things, but we were like that classic rock magazine that you mentioned.
we're stoked on
We
that.
were real happy.
We used to read their magazine and stuff when we were kids, so things
Yeah,
like that.
I've got about 100 fucking magazines from them.
Yeah.
I collected.
Because it was like a voting thing, and we got third place out of, I don't know, 5 or whatever it was, but just to know that some people voted
It
for
was
us.
more than
What was
five, it
that?
was like 10 now.
Oh, 10. I was sick. Yeah, to know that some people voted for our song is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool seeing that.
Yeah, we
was
were-
there
We were absolutely stoked with that because it was the Dickie Betts band. The Dickie Betts, the Allman Betts band has two. I think they're just sons, nephews of legends. So we were pretty honoured to get mentioned in the same sentence as those guys.
Yeah, you guys were mentioned in there. You guys were among like the Jailbirds and Corey Glover and stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to also see that they had kind of written something that they had actually listened to it and written something that they felt was appropriate about us. Their own bit of opinion on it, which is cool, rather than just the standard jargon.
So have you guys noticed an uptick in your popularity after that? Like, was it a big
YouTube,
push?
Yeah, because that was sorry, I'm choking on a piece of pasta. On YouTube, yeah, we did. I think it more than doubled our YouTube streams on that particular video because it was all centered around a single. So we released the album 2 weeks ago, but the Classic Rock magazine piece was on a single, and they shared the music video for each of the band singles that they were talking about. So yeah, that more than doubled in the space of a week. So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty wild. That's that's so cool that it was with your song "Away with Murder." Is that is on your new album, eh?
Yeah.
That was the last single.
The third single, yeah,
that we put out before the album. But yeah,
was there a specific part when you guys were doing music, like between your EP or your album, where everything kind of blew up? Do you think there was a kind of primal point where it all got like very real, like this is going to be a real thing?
Yeah, I would say it was definitely based around the album. We got a lot of momentum. We started recording the album last year around July, August. So around this time, actually. And as we were doing that and getting together all the material, we started to make some really good connections, especially in the New Zealand festival scene. And what progressed us the most quickly, I think, was it was kind of a trio. So we went Rhythm and Vines on the 29th, and then we played a Tides Festival on the Mount on the 31st. And then we had Ness Fest in Hawke's Bay on the 12th of January. And those three all at kind of a similar time as we were also releasing our second single, Southern Cold. I think it set us on a pretty good course to break to the greater public a lot better than we had previously with, say, the EP.
Yeah, it got us in front of a lot more people than just playing Auckland club gigs and stuff like that, playing those bigger festivals. And to be able to get a good response from those shows was pretty cool. Pretty good feeling. Yeah,
it was kind of perfect because as much as we're really happy with what we've done on the album, well, we are very happy and we've had great response from it. We're at heart a live band, which you can really put across when you're playing those festivals to new people, and they understand your energy and see what you're all about. So that was the perfect way for us to break ourselves.
Got all five senses going there. You're watching us. Just
Yeah, that's me.
Feel us, taste us.
Do you guys with the new album that you've obviously first band to release it on vinyl since September of 1987, which is like 32 years ago. No, yeah, 32 years ago.
Yeah,
that's a long.
I'm not going to check your math.
Yeah, okay. I jumped out
at least 30. So yeah.
That's all good. So, like, did you guys record that whole album on analog? We were debating this before. Did you record on digital or did you record on analog? Or?
Nah.
We wish we were good enough to record it analog.
The whole vinyl idea came. I mean, we hadn't completely finished the album, but the whole recording process of the album took a long time. It kind of started just because we had, 10 plus songs, and we were saying, "Oh, that's enough for an album. Let's do it," kind of thing. And then towards the end, it just kind of happened with timing that our friends who are Holiday Records, Ben and Joel, were doing their thing and talking about doing, the first vinyl press, and just timing, like we thought the timing could work out, and it ended up working out for us. But yeah, we didn't record it analog. Maybe one day it would be cool to record something on tape.
Next step.
It was recorded digital, but then
it was mixed through the tape.
It was put through the tape machine.
So it's got a little bit of that old school vibe. And
that's all good. It does have the old school vibe.
Yeah, we try to. I mean, it's pretty hard to steer clear of all those modern day technology. Just to fix a little little hiccup here or there. It's pretty
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Well,
Not
just
do that.
just the convenience of like if you make a mistake to just go back and delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
at
think
the same time, there's some not so much great mistakes almost. Like I think Sunflower Fields is the fifth song perhaps. There's a section, it's quite a quiet song, and there's a section just before the whole band comes in. You can kind of hear a clearing of the throat or a counting from someone, and just to not take things like that out. It's really
we did like everything was recorded, like the first track, like all drums, bass, and guitar were all recorded kind of one take together, and then things were thrown on top of that. So there was like, we still wanted to get across that kind of jam vibe instead of kind of laying the drums down and putting things and just layering like that. We still wanted to record playing with each other. Yeah.
Whereabouts did you guys record your album? Did you record it at home or did you record it in a studio?
We did this one at the lab in Mount Eden.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
nice studio.
Yeah, so it didn't, like, the actual recording time of it didn't take a long time, but just slotting in with booking times and
Money, essentially.
money when you're not all at work, that sort of stuff. So we probably did the whole album in about 15 days or something of actual studio time.
Well, it was about a song a day for
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, so less
essentially.
than that, 11 songs after.
Yeah.
11 days, but yeah, the time kind of stretched out because we were fitting it in between everything else.
Are you guys still working right now? Like doing other jobs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's quite a small fishbowl, and if you tried to play Auckland 2 nights in the same week, you'd be pushing shit uphill at our kind of level of whatever we are.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
level of success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach and Jesse, they hire out construction equipment.
Yeah.
Brad makes coffee, and I'm a builder. So there's a bit of difference between our day lives and
And nighttime.
nighttime. Yeah.
Were you guys a band for a very long time before you started getting successful off it? Or different
So
bands? Or...
we've been together 2 years.
Oh.
Just pushing 2 years as a band, the four of us. Brad's been in, I'm not sure if you might have heard of it, Two Cartoons.
I haven't.
It's a-
I haven't heard, no.
No, it's, okay. it's another Kiwi band. They're from Dunedin, and
Yeah.
they got some really good success and cruised over to London and came back
Oh.
here. And just about a couple of months ago, they ended up breaking up and going their separate ways. But we're really stoked to get all of Brad's time now, which is definitely pushes the band forward a lot faster, and it coincided up with us doing good things as well.
Was that side project sort of the same, like bringing back the vintage, the classic vintage rock sound, or is the...
Nah, so it's definitely very much in the indie rock scene. So Brad, all four
To
of
be
us,
honest, we were the side project.
we started off as the
yeah.
side project. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did what we do well, and we weaseled our way in.
Yeah, he tried
Very
to
well.
he tried to leave a couple times, but we won him with a few good shows and a couple tattoos.
So you guys like you guys obviously really enjoy the classic vintage rock scene and stuff, which you don't hear too much nowadays. Is it sort of, you trying to aim for the rebirth of that sort of sound?
I mean, I think we're just playing what we like.
Yeah.
I don't think we're actively trying to bring something back, or like I love the idea if we can play a show and then people look at what we're into and it turns them on to Stones and Tom Petty and some of the older blues stuff as well. Like that'd be cool if people did that, but it's definitely, that's not, well, personally, it's not my goal necessarily. Like, we make the music we make because it's kind of what we like making. We can't really go out there and make any other type of album, I don't think. It would sound pretty terrible.
This band would struggle to make another sort of album.
Yeah, it was pretty clear from the get-go what kind of before we got Brad, and we weren't too sure exactly. We just wanted to kind of be a band and have fun doing it. But it was, when Brad came in, it was pretty clear of what we should have been doing, which
We were
is rock
really
and roll.
lucky because Brad was very much brought up on the same stuff as us, and at uni he was obviously doing the indie rock thing, but I don't think it ever went away, his love for the music that we do play. So it's a perfect marriage.
Well, there's an interesting renaissance of that sort of music style. Like I'm a real big fan of Jack White, and he's got that whole thing where he's got brought back of the record press, and you can go and record a song and on an analog and on tape, and then see it
Yeah.
produced.
Yeah. Jack White actually, I don't know quite what the relationship was.
It's just that his machine that he has, because there's something about, well, we're talking about the record pressing machine that Holiday Records have, that pressed album. Because Ben Wallace, the guy that owns Holiday Records, he's a huge Jack White fan. And when he came here with the raconteurs, he came in store and stuff, and he was losing his nut over it. But yeah, I think he got the idea from Jack White. I think he has the same press, and it's like the idea about this press is that it's quite compact and things like that. I think back in the day, most other presses take up a lot more room and a lot larger and take a lot more manpower to kind of work. But this one's quite compact. Like, it's just, and it's like the idea about this press is that it's quite compact and things like that. I think back in the day, most other presses take up a lot more room and a lot larger and take a lot more manpower to kind of work. But this one's quite compact. Like, it's just in the back of their store, which isn't huge. So
do you feel like that's a kind of a thing that's going to stay in for a long time, or do you think it's going to fade out a bit, the whole vinyl thing?
I think the fact, like, having something tangible in your hands, you can't really beat it, and it's the best tangible thing that's been there. CDs were quite hollow. Tapes didn't have the ability to do.
Tapes have had a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, that's on the back of the whole '90s thing. But they just didn't have the ability to do that kind of classic justice. But that's where the records fall in perfectly, in that they're timeless. They're kind of the original way that people listen to music, and they've got a great point of difference in sound. I think they'll definitely, whether or not the boom stays as big as it is, but they'll definitely keep a place in everybody's listening collection.
I think it's hard to tell, because I remember when I started collecting records when I was about 18 or something, my mum was a bit like gobsmacked, and she didn't know why, and I kind of, explained my reasons and explained that other people are doing it, kind of thing. And she was telling me about the amazing record collection she had, and then as soon as CDs came into town, it was just literally like chuck them in the bin. Which is, so it's hard to tell sometimes what's, you never know. Like, I could never imagine, in 20, 30, 50 years or whatever, people collecting CDs or something like that. That's a horrendous thought. I think they're pretty awful things, but that's kind of what they would have thought about vinyl, that it gets one scratch and it's fucked. If you jump up and down in the room, it skips around. But we're in 2019 and we just did our first press and we're almost sold out. So.
How was the feeling of just getting your first vinyl? Like, obviously when you first saw it, printed, like how was the feeling of getting that and seeing it and holding it for the first time?
Yeah, it was really cool. It's kind of funny because your first one that you get's not perfected, especially because it was Holiday Records' very first press. There's a brand new machine. They were kind of doing little adjustments and things, and we were their guinea pig. And so they gave us the very first press record and said to us, "Here, take this away, have a listen right the way through, see what you think, if there's any adjustments in places." And so it was, as much as it was incredible to get our first one, we kind of had a purpose when we got given it. So we took it home and we all sat down and had a listen, and Brad especially, who's got a really good sonic knowledge, picked his way through it, and we took it back and then they did a little adjustment. So it's quite a process, but at the end of it, to get 150 of them knocked out in the sleeves and to be holding that and know that you put all the work in to get it done, it was bloody cool.
Personally, seeing the actual cover more so than the vinyl itself, because listen to the songs hundreds of times mixing it, but actually seeing the case and seeing our mugs on there was
confronting.
yeah, definitely like a goosebump or two. But yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny enough that you brought up your faces on the album cover, because when I saw it the other day, when Scott said that we were doing an interview with you guys, I instantly thought Robert Plant, Taylor Hawkins, Johnny Ramone, and Brendan Benson from the Raconteurs. That's what
that would be a pretty good band. I would go.
I was like, oh,
that'd be pretty cool.
That's it. We actually, we had a look at a few of the Stooges album covers. And we went in to take the photo because we wanted something super classic, and all those late 60s, early 70s records were photos of the band as opposed to artworks. So we went into the studio to take the photos, and we went in with the idea we're going to go fucking black. It's going to be dark. It's going to be a bit ominous.
Black
and
and white,
then when we
baby.
arrived in there, Christian, who took the photo, had a big blue sheet from his last shoot that he'd done. It was kind of like whatever you call it, turquoisey.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, sod it, we'll step on that and take a few photos there." And we banged through that, and in the end, we were kind of like, "Oh, we like the blue, we'll stick with that."
I remember going in. I think I wanted to take a few photos with it because it reminded me of, you know, when you'd get your childhood, like at school, you'd get school photo day, and you'd go and like you'd meet up with your siblings or whatever, like at different times, and you get your photos done, and your parents could buy them or whatever. Pretty rip off, but it reminded me of the backdrop that you had when you do those photos, which I thought was kind of funny, kind of cool. And then I thought we'd just try a few and then get onto the black backdrop, but
Came
it
out
stuck.
nice. Yeah.
That's awesome. It does really, it does give me that 60s, 70s vibe of, and now you say Stooges, I definitely, get Stooges from
Yeah,
that.
jump on and have a look at the Stooges cover after you go, oh.
Yeah.
What's your guys' like favorite albums of all times? You know, what's your most influential albums? Obviously, you got a vast knowledge on music.
More specifically, like, what really inspired your bands the most? I think is really
Musically.
Yeah.
When we started out, our first thing, mainly probably driven by myself and Yoni, was The Doors. We loved The Doors. But just the instrumentation doesn't really lend itself to that sort of kind of slower, little bit ominous.
Can't do that jazz drumming.
And we ended up pushing way more towards kind of early 70s bands, and then Tom Petty as well. But yeah, lots of Rolling Stones towards the end of what we were doing with the album. The last two songs off the album definitely sort of tip the hat to The Doors. We've got a really strongly connected song in there with Taj Mahal, who's a blues musician. I don't know where he's from actually, but he was kind of the next generation after the Muddy Waters, B.B. King. And
A few tip of the hat still, like Tom Petty as well.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of albums, like Damn the Torpedoes and things like that, and LA Woman, and I mean, we could list albums for days, really.
I really like, my favourite band of all time is Fleetwood Mac before they got all the girls and got famous, when they had Peter Green in the band. And it was basically
They're a blues band.
It was a takeout of John Mayall's Blues Breakers. It was kind of a hand picked from that band, and they made a new band. So yeah, there's all sorts of influences from around that time. And yeah, I don't think that we come across as blatantly one band, because we have had so many influences from there, and I don't think we never considered ourselves good enough to rip someone straight off.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one of the good things about being in 2019 and being able to access pretty much any music that's being recorded. You're able to just have access to it all and take from all of it, compared to back in the day, where the guys that we that have kind of inspired us, like the Rolling Stones and all those guys, when they were kids, you know, they would have to send off, like, wait for vinyl to come in from America of these old blues guys, and they could only listen to, you know, a few songs, and they'd all have to meet up at their friends' places to kind of listen to this music. So we're pretty lucky to be able to just, you know, listen to so many different genres and bands of over like so many decades.
Yeah.
And kind of take from it all.
We were listening to a great modern pianist quite a bit well, he's not a pianist, but there's a piano-driven band, Low Cut Connie, when we were recording the album as well.
Well, I think that what vinyl, like you guys are saying about the vinyl resurgence before, you don't think it will go away. I think that like communal feeling of listening to a record together is something that vinyl will has more so over other mediums, because you can have it there, you can see it, you can experience it as a full tactile experience.
Yeah, and someone's got to stand up, go to the corner, and put it on as well.
Yeah.
Who's the sucker that's got to stand up and turn it over?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. You know, someone, you can't just skip. You know, you can't just skip the song.
Yeah.
I like it because it forces you to listen to the album the way that the creator of the album wanted it to be listened. You know, as musicians ourselves, I think we put a lot more time into, kind of more than people realize, into say something as simple as ordering the songs on the album. You know, we kind of, there's a reason why each song is in each place and why it ends and starts a certain way. So
there's actually a really interesting story behind that we didn't think about till right at the end. And I think it was, we were going through might have been Exile on Main Street. I can't remember which one. Regardless. We were listening to it, and Brad goes, "Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. The vinyl, as you get closer to the middle of the vinyl, the quality of sound gets slightly worse." And so people back when they were producing albums specifically for vinyl would have their quieter songs finish each side. And so song track 5, for instance, for us, Sunflower Fields, we'd realised before we fully ordered the track listing, but that's the end of a side, and so it was kind of perfect that song was our only fade-out song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, on the end of, it's pretty cool. On the end of it's Abbey Road, because the when it gets to the middle of the record, like it keeps playing in a loop. You know what I mean? Like it never stops. So most albums they like just cull it, but on the end of Abbey Road it actually has a continuous
Really?
And
so the needle goes, it just continues.
Yeah, what's the I forgot the name of the song.
That's crazy. That's like the Beatles are so weird because they do like
yeah.
The Beatles are great because people kind
of I've actually been getting into like vintage
so creative.
Yeah, like I've been jamming the shit out of the Beatles and stuff lately. And you said Damn the Torpedoes and stuff. I listened to that album just the other week, and because I'm trying to listen to as much albums as possible at the moment, just all the way through. And like some of those older bands, you don't really take for granted just like how different they could be and stuff. You know, that Abbey Road thing. Just I didn't even know about that. You would think that would be like well known.
Yeah, well, it's so cool. Like you were saying earlier, like, did you guys record to tape? And man, the level of musicianship back then to be recording to tape and not to have any of the modern day luxuries that we have, all those bands were just kind of like the cream of the crop. Whereas today, more and more people can have a crack and throw their 10 cents in, which is fantastic, but it does make you appreciate just how good they really were.
You know, it's like our EP that we did it in my bedroom, you know, just because we thought we'd have a good crack at recording it on the cheap before we went and dropped the big bucks in the studio. Yeah, anyone can do it really if you got a MacBook and a couple microphones.
Yeah. We kind of
2 songs.
I was gonna ask if there was a somewhere out there a worse version of your EP or your album, just recorded on a home setup.
The only song that you would have that opportunity with is Fowler Street, the second song off the album, which we recorded for the EP. And then we never quite got it to the point where we wanted it to be, and so we kept that and saved it for the album.
Fowler Street's a good song. Yeah. Everyone here really likes that song.
I just got that chorus bit stuck in my head all of yesterday. I was driving around and I was like just humming it and tapping on my leg. It's like, stop.
That's a good song.
Keep doing it.
Keep tapping.
Don't stop.
End up in the bushes.
Yeah. We actually quite enjoyed a lot of songs. We were just listening to it. We were listening to it again before the podcast just to get into the vibes and stuff. And I was like, this is my favorite song. And I was like, wait, I had the next song. This is my favorite song. They're all just like, they're pretty good songs.
Yeah, quite a collection.
That's off the EP, and that song Yoni without any instrumentation when we were walking down a little path in Costa Rica to the
paddling
beach.
out.
Yeah.
That's so trippy, man. So you're just like, we were wondering. I didn't want to sound like a dumbass, but on your introduction, of course, when we were researching, it says Mini Simmons is a rock and roll band from Auckland, New Zealand, dreamed up on the Pacific highways of Mexico. So
yeah, Jesse, Yoni, and I, we booked flights and had a 6-month trip through Central America, and we bought a car up in Ventura, California, and we drove all the way down to Panama. And on the way,
did we make it to Panama?
To the top of Panama, the border.
Sorry, so it doesn't affect the story at all.
And we were on the way. We were making up little raps and rhymes and bits and pieces. And then when we got to the end, we were like, "Damn, we don't want this to finish. It's been so fun. We got to go back and earn money and get jobs, whatever. But we want something to look forward to." And so we decided before we left that we were going to get together a band. So for like the last 3 or 4 weeks, we were coming up with these little tunes. and with no instrumentation and singing.
bought
them
little
to each other.
notebooks and
Bought notebooks and wrote out little songs in them.
would take turns in the car by ourselves so we could kind of figure out melodies and things, and then come back and sing them to the boys. And
That's really cool,
Yeah,
actually.
that's a dope origin story.
Yeah, that's sick.
Slippery Gypsy made it onto the EP, and that was one of those.
Oh, really?
I think it was one of the first. Yeah, it was about my ex-girlfriend. That was she owed me a bit of money, which I desperately needed at that point in time in the trip. So, which she decided not to give to me. So, I
She is a
thought,
little bit of a slippery gypsy.
I thought,
didn't I?
yeah, I thought that name was pretty fitting.
Yeah.
She did not. So, but that's all good. She still hasn't paid me. So.
It stays.
Was
Still
that while
down.
you guys were together or like after? Was she your ex at that point when you were writing
Yeah,
the song?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely, yeah. I
And
wasn't
the-
going to go on a surf trip through Mexico with a girlfriend, so
Only I managed that.
yeah, Zach pulled it off. It was very impressive.
That's really cool that you guys met over a surfing trip, and you guys are named after a type of surfboard. A Mini Simmons, a type of surfboard,
Yeah.
right?
Fast and loose, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a short, fat surfboard, and yeah, as Yoni said, it's real fast and loose.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel that trip affected like your progression into becoming a band? Do you think something would have happened? Like, would you have formed a band if you hadn't have done that trip?
But no way, I don't think. To be honest, I've known Zach and Jesse personally I've known them since I was 5. But we went to primary school together, and we actually did go to. There's a bit of an age gap, especially between Zach and I. But in high school, weren't close at all. And the years following that, yeah, pretty much little to no contact, pretty much until I started working with Jesse a bit. But it wasn't until that trip that I'm not going to speak for Zach and Jesse because they're brothers, but personally my relationship with them, it went from kind of just being these family friends to being my best buds. Yeah, if it wasn't for that trip, yeah, who knows? I might have finished my degree, but probably would have been in a very different place. And yeah, definitely wouldn't have been in the band. I hadn't played drums for 5+ years or something before starting the band, so music wasn't really happening in my life.
Yeah, or you could almost say like your spiritual journey. Like there's that walk that you can do from the top of the North Island to the south, and there's one in Spain, the Walk of the Priests, I think it's called.
My boss did that one.
The one from in
Like
Spain.
the big fucking walk in Spain. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, like, would you say that was your spiritual journey where you learned a lot about yourselves as well as having the idea to form the band?
Definitely.
Yeah, there was a lot of growth.
We're highly unspiritual, but I believe that you're totally correct with that.
I'm spiritual to an extent. I have a lot of love for some people.
Love's the way, man.
Yeah, we're not a hippie band, so
Yeah, fair enough.
let's drink some bourbon.
Okay. So sorry, I lost my train of thought. Guys,
Did you guys, when you guys finished this album, did it change your kind of perspective on music? Are you guys going to do a different kind of path now, or
yeah.
did it kind of strengthen that at all?
Definitely not. We're not going to do we're not going to go down a different path. Well, as I'm...
Guess the path just widens a bit.
Yeah, as I'm sure, or maybe takes like a little divergent. But as a lot of bands do with the second album or next work, they take a little bit of a...
You always learn from
direction
it.
And
Yeah.
learn from what you've done and
Never do the
pick
same.
the good bits and pick other bits that you've been exposed to in the time since you recorded. Because you're constantly getting new influences if you listen to new music, and you're going to get pretty stale if you just put out the same thing all over again.
Change is a pretty gradual thing, I think, when it comes to creativity for us anyway. So I think it will change, and hopefully for the better. But our thing, like our kind of vibe is pretty obvious, and we're wearing those boots, and I think they'll be pretty hard to take off. So yeah, I don't think we're going to steer too far from what we're doing. And considering we've had pretty good response from the album and what we're doing, I think it'd be silly to, chuck a U-turn.
Yeah.
One thing that we've already, because we have already started writing some new material, and one thing that's already kind of coming out in it is there are probably a few more mellow songs. Not that we're consciously doing it, and there'll still definitely be the rock and roll, but there's
Just a bit more diversity.
Yeah, a little bit more in the way of dynamics, perhaps.
Do you guys have any modern bands that you really look towards for inspiration, or you really enjoy listening to, or anything, or is it mainly just the old stuff?
Low-Cut Connie that we mentioned before, I quite like. And there's another band in Auckland, Racing, that are pretty cool. Then
Racing.
yeah,
They came out of, you guys would have heard the Checks.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, yeah.
recognize the song
Czechs
too.
5-6 years ago. Racing came out of the
Yeah.
embers of Czechs.
They're doing
There's
some
some
cool
other
things.
cool Auckland bands. Smokestack Slim, Arthur Arbez, and then we're playing with one of the members of that, Joe Gatt, at our next gig.
Yeah. I mean, Babe Rainbow as well. We played with them at Nest Fest, and I dug their vibe. They're kind of doing like the mellow version of what we're doing. They're doing that very 70s hippie mellow vibe, which is pretty cool.
Maybe even more 60s.
Yeah. So there's a few cool bands in Australia and stuff, and there's a few the Growlers and things like that.
We had quite a bit of a listen to Twin Peaks after one of our mates who's super into like that surf punk scene in Australia. He heard our band for not the first time, but a time that he saw us live, and he was like, "Oh, you guys should get into Twin Peaks." I think Brad was already really into them.
I've heard
A
of
band
Twin
called
Peaks.
Yeah, they're from Chicago, I think.
a band called Doors, DAWES. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Natural Child was a great one that Brad brought up when we were just finishing the EP, I think. They're kind of hard to describe what they are, but there's a whole lot of
Black
bands
Keys
that we
just put
listen
out an album as well, which is pretty cool.
You vibe with the Black Keys and stuff?
Yeah, Black Keys are cool, man. They
Sweet.
definitely take heavily from that blues vibe, and I kind of like what they've just put out. It's kind of like they've gone back to their earlier stuff. A lot of those bigger current rock bands,
Like
not always a
Kings of Leon.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of necessarily their recent bigger pop stuff, but a lot
But
of
when
their
they
early
burst
albums-
onto the scene, yeah, they were.
yeah, like
beasts
them
to
and
me.
like Cage the Elephant and stuff like their early stuff
Oh, yeah.
is pretty cool. You know,
Yeah, we
but
jammed
then
it.
they, yeah, I mean, you got to sell out at some point, I suppose. Some ways a big enough check. Can't say I would.
We
You guys aren't
We
gonna
like to think I
into
would've.
a band called the Sheepdogs in that classic rock magazine thing, and we had a little listen to them after we hadn't before, and they're a Canadian band. They were quite cool.
Do you guys like? I'm gonna ask this, even though they were like, "Don't ask it because it might sound like a dick," but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do you guys? You've heard of Greta Van Fleet, eh?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do you guys get many? Because it's just kind of cool because your band and Greta Van Fleet kind of that you guys have come onto this whole new classic rock scene, and Greta Van Fleet's quite popular for it. Do you guys vibe with them or not really, or do you get many comparisons to them?
I'm stoked. I'm stoked that a band doing the 70s thing is blown up to the extent that they have.
Yeah, that's really cool. And we haven't actually had a whole lot of Greta Van Fleet, not comparisons, but people haven't really talked to us a whole lot about it. But we totally understand it, and I think they're insane musicians. It's ridiculous. But kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where we don't fit into a single band's mold. I think they've been
Just Led
sucked a
Zeppelin.
bit by the media. They've caught the Led Zeppelin bug.
Yeah. They are Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, and the same, not this to the same extent because they sound a lot more modern, but the Struts kind of have the same thing with Queen.
The Struts. I haven't checked them out yet.
Yeah, have a look at them after this, and yes, in similar sort of vein to the way Led Zeppelin get. Greta Van Fleet.
Oh yeah, the Struts even look like the guys from Queen, eh? Like, and all right, yeah, I get that vibe. Vibe.
But I mean, I think they're coming to New Zealand and soon. And
We'd never hold it against them, and we'd go to their show to see the musicians for sure.
we're definitely like when we saw them blowing up. You know, they've been winning Grammys and selling out fucking all around the world, and we're definitely kind of thinking that's awesome because that's our way in. You know what I mean? Let's ride this train. Let's jump on the back of that. And it kind of showed me that there are a bunch of people, you know, that the 70s, 60s rock and roll stuff, it's not dead. And
Young kids.
yeah, it's a lot of young fans and things like that. So
You
it's
have a
awesome to
whole.
see-
Sorry, you
yeah,
go.
it's cool to know that we're not putting our music out to people that aren't listening. You know what I mean? It's nice to know that there is an audience out there that we have a good shot at impressing and liking our shit.
Yeah. Do you guys at your show see like a lot of younger people, or is it mainly sort of you're older, or you know?
Our shows so far have been
25 to 35.
maybe a few. Yeah, maybe like 22 to 35, somewhere in that bracket. Definitely not not the real young kids, and not the. Or we've had a few.
I think maybe more so than most other bands at our level. I think we pull a few more of the older crowd just because of you know, we play music more similar to what they used to listen to when they were younger.
You'd get along with pubs real well. Like pubs would love you guys. You guys sat,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, that would get a bit rowdy.
Yeah.
You guys, I lost my train of thought again, dude.
I'll interject in there then. So, have you guys got any aspirations for tours, like an album tour, continuing over to Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the goal. We haven't brought
finalised
to fruition
it, yeah.
yet, but that's the goal after we finish up here in Auckland mid-August. We're definitely eyeing something up for Australia. It'd probably be, at this stage, it'd be September, October.
That's what I was gonna say. You guys would be like really well to be paired with like you said, the Struts and Greta Van Fleet and stuff. If they ever did a show in New Zealand, you guys have to do those shows. There's heaps of bands that you guys could just do shows with, and they would be like mean. I'd go to that show and I'd be like, this is a really good show because they paired it up really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'd throw our names in the hat, absolutely. And we'd be stoked to get it. We'd take it every day of the week. But we don't get the final say.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All you can do is ask, I suppose.
Have you
But I
guys
get
done?
what you're saying, yeah.
Who organizes those shows for you guys?
The shows that we're currently doing.
Yeah, like the touring and.
So we had a pretty good idea of where we wanted to play, and then we spoke with Harry, who's managing us, and he is he's Nesfest man, and he does all the booking and kind of confirmed, yeah, that's a good place to play, well, that might not be. So yeah, he looks after all the booking side of things.
Yeah, it's a bit easier than you think, kind of, to book a
Okay.
New Zealand tour if you
Yeah.
do it ahead of time. Yeah,
In this day and age, everyone's so accessible. Everyone's got a mobile phone number. Everyone's got social media. You can pick up the phone and you can be booked in the next 10 minutes.
Sweet as. Do you guys a couple last questions before we wrap this all up? Do you guys have any particular bands you really, really enjoyed with? What was your favorite show you've ever played or anything? Or biggest band you've ever played or
The biggest show that we've played to date would definitely be Nesfest. So that was on the 12th of January this year, and it's actually coming back for a second year. The year coming, it's in Hawke's Bay at, what's the place called?
oh,
It was a
mind blowing.
big vineyard in Hawke's Bay, and Blackburn,
Yeah.
Blackburn Winery, and they've got an amazing amphitheatre, like natural amphitheatre, big kind of like shell of a stage, and there's about 2,000 people along there, and across the course of the day there would have been 9 acts play, and some big names as well, like Bay Rainbow, Conor Moccasin. That was our biggest show, and then our personal
I think
highlights.
I like playing with in Australia, in Sydney, this band called Eagle Eye Jones. They're real cool. Yeah, we played with them a few months ago and checked them out. They're sick. They're cool guys.
Okay,
When we
okay.
met them, like soulmates, kind of band soulmates. They're cool guys. Cool music.
if you guys play in Australia, could you please do a show with
You know, you said the chats.
No.
That meme.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Could you please do a show with
That would blow Brad's mind. He's such a big fan.
we would love to. They're blowing up. They're sick. But
fucking crazy, eh?
again, that's not up to us.
But yeah, it has to happen. That is a
Yeah.
show of a lifetime right there.
They're a ludicrously good band. There's so many solid musicians, well, not solid, but great musicians in that band. I think they got 2 drummers. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 drums. I heard their song Rattlesnake, I think, and I was like, oh, what the fuck am I? It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool. They're doing something like pretty different and doing it well. So it's sick.
We
Yeah.
saw them at Laneway 2 years ago, and
Even
it
more.
just about fell off my feet. They're just that much coming out of them.
So you guys said you played at Rhythm and Vines. How did you find that? How was your reception? Like, how was the crowd's reception of you guys?
It was
Pretty good.
It was our crowd reception that was watching us was amazing. Like, that's actually one of the better shows that we've played as a band as well. If not a little bit fast.
Yeah.
But the crowd that was watching us, we got amazing feedback from. But it was bloody funny walking through Rhythm and Vines, and
Yeah,
we got
rock and roll doesn't really have any right to be at that festival. To be honest, it felt like
we got a lot of funny looks going through the crowd, a little bit of hate.
yeah. But, it was cool. It was cool to play, and yeah, like Zach said, the 300-400 people that watched us play, they were loving it. And
That's pretty good. That's mean though.
yeah, I think most people come away from our shows having a pretty good time. I'd hope.
We got paired up perfectly with one of the biggest headline acts of the whole thing. Just happened to be playing the same slot as us. I can't even remember who it was. But people that left
Some
that
no-name
stage
rapper.
because they weren't enjoying it and came over to us. We got messages afterwards saying, "Oh my god, you guys made our night that night, so that was cool.
That's dope. Yeah, I think, is that all our questions?
I had one question written here that I want to ask just because I forgot. How was the I watched your video clip, right? And it tripped me the fuck out. It was Away with Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that funky ass to film, or like what was that all about? That really weirded me out.
We got to give tip of the hat to our main man Christian.
Yeah, we got.
I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, we got so looked after on that one by Christian. We went to him with the song and said we'd already done our previous video for Kids Off Broadway with him, but the Kids Off Broadway one was
He just edited it.
Yeah, it was very simple. It was just kind of like live music video. But this one, he came up with the whole concept. He told us what to do, directed us around, and then edited the shit out of our faces. To, like we had another guy who Harry's done some stuff with come up to us and
he does all the videos for Soak Goats and things like that.
Yeah, Jake came up to us and was like, "Oh my god, you guys are so lucky to have worked with Christian on that. I don't know how he cut up that many shots. I don't know any of the technical terms, but frames and spliced them all together to make what he did. It was
we were super stoked with the video. When we I remember seeing that and going like, oh, that looks like that's a video that like a proper band would have.
It fucked me up, man. I was watching that and I came out a different person on the other side. Are you guys doing another video or anything by any chance?
Yeah, I would say we'll definitely do. We're kind of tossing up at the moment too, so you guys can throw your 10 cents.
I think it'll be Sunflower
Fields, or When It Rains, it pours off the album. You guys can have a listen and send us a message which one you want to see the music video for.
Yeah, we'll hit you up with what we think.
In this day and age, I mean, you can kind of do music videos for as many songs as you can afford. Really, it used to be like you just do the singles, but
Nah, people just want to be taken on have a story told to them, and I think you can do that really well with video, and it gets you out there on another platform.
It's another vent of creativity as well.
Yeah.
Just another way we can express ourselves, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. We were talking to a band who was doing a music video for every one of their songs.
Yeah, they do a video for every song they create. They want to. They haven't really.
It sounds tiresome ads.
That's the way forward, though. That's like, if you want to reach the people and you want to. Every band needs content with this, this fast-changing social media climate. You need a new post. You need new content for every bloody Instagram feed and Facebook post. So it can get a bit tiresome, but that's what you need to do to crack it, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, is that everything?
I think that's all our questions. That's everything, guys. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Oh, shit, promo. Do you guys want to promote anything? Did you do this already?
Oh, no, yeah. Do you guys want to promote anything?
I guess
promote the shit out of anything you can.
Obviously the tour.
Okay, yeah, so we put out the new album, Mini Simmons. Go check it out on Spotify.
Or buy it on vinyl. There's about 10 left or so.
Yeah, we're very near sold out, so get on it quick.
We should buy one and hang it on our wall.
Yeah.
You should.
Otherwise, we're going to do a repress once these are out. So,
but if you want the first press in New Zealand in 32 years, you want to get in quick.